let's switch over to stuff that's a little bit more current. Last week we were kind of talking about Call of Duty Vanguard. It was going to have an event to kind of talk a little bit more about what to expect in the game. Details have come out. Adam, so let's talk a little bit about the campaign. We're going to talk about, they talked a little bit about the multiplayer. They talked a little bit about zombies. You know what you're getting there. There's nothing super new or doesn't really change much from game to game. It's really the campaign that kind of changes. So let's talk a little bit about the campaign. So this is coming from PC. I think it's PC Mag. Yeah, it's coming from PC Gamer. So they wrote, after months of rumors and speculation about just what's going on with Call of Duty this year, Call of Duty Vanguard has officially been confirmed as the next mainline game in the series. Vanguard takes the series back for the 7th time to World War II with a campaign that lead developer Sledgehammer Games hope will feel new to the series. Sledgehammer, which hasn't led development on a COD game since 2017's Call of Duty World War II, is shaking things up by setting most of the campaign after the official end of the World War. Hitler's dead, the Nazis have lost, but the Allies learn of a troubling plan called Project Phoenix to somehow facilitate Hitler's successor. What the heck does that even mean? Your guess is as good as mine. Vanguard's main villain is a fictional Heinrich Freisinger, inspired by the real Gestapo operative Heinrich Müller. They go on to say, Call of Duty is no stranger to campaigns about small special force teams deploying into hostile territories, but Vanguard's hook lies in this being a new concept at the end of World War II. To deal with this whole successor problem, the Allies deploy a squad of 4 specialists from 4 countries. Arthur Kingsley, Great Britain, Polina Petrova, the Soviet Union, also the woman that's been sniping Warzone winners out of helicopters, Wade Jackson, USA, and Lucas Riggs from Australia. So basically what it's going to be is they're going to be talking about sort of like the start of special forces and these guys kind of going in and working together to kind of stop this plan to set up Hitler's successor. Adam, what do you make of this campaign and this story? Do you think this is going to be enough to get you into it, or are you excited about this potential story?
I mean, I've said it for a while now, maybe not on this show, but like, Call of Duty is at that point where if it wants to get me to play its campaigns, it's got to charge me separate for them now, because I can't be justified to spend $80 or I guess at best $40 to play a campaign and then not play the multiplayer, because I'll be completely honest, I'm done with playing Call of Duty multiplayer. It's too toxic. You know, obviously I can play without being in chat, but it's not as fun as it used to be, and I think I'm also just, I don't like being frustrated nearly as much, so granted, playing those kind of games just aren't the best for me. It's not nearly as chill. So it used to just be that I like playing the campaigns a lot, and since Call of Duty games never really go down in price, not at least not as fast as you like them to, they gotta do more to get me in. And sure, it's really cool that the plot's gonna be like a post-World War II, where like, you know, Hitler's heir is trying to get things going, you're trying to put a stop to that, but it's just a story, and it's gonna be a 4 to 6 hour story that doesn't really do anything too crazy. And you know, I said it either last week or the week before when we were talking about the reveal. I think it was last week, where, you know, I was hoping that it would be something different. I was hoping that it would be something cool, like an online campaign, like either obviously playing it with friends and whatever, if it's like a 4-person team, or even like something akin to a Destiny. And I know they would never do it because Call of Duty knows better to just do the same things they always do and just add a different coat of paint on it, and they're going to make their money. So it's a case where I can look at the trailer and go, that looks cool, but for anything more than $30, you're not going to get my attention, and I honestly don't think you ever will. And then when you couple that with the fact that I could care less about anything that Activision Blizzard comes out to right now for obvious reasons, it's not going to do anything to move the needle for me. It obviously will for Call of Duty fans, because they like the World War II games. But I mean, I still looked at the trailer and went, I guarantee you that less than 25% of their audience even gave a shit because it's not showing the multiplayer.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you that I think Call of Duty and like even Battlefield to a certain extent are in a weird place where there's 2 different audiences. There are the people who are into the zombies and the multiplayer, and I think that's predominantly most of the players. And then there's a small section that likes the campaign. I'm one of the people that I generally like the Call of Duty campaigns. It's very rare for me to pick up a Call of Duty campaign at launch. I usually typically wait for them to come down to like $20 or something. And I find that that's sort of the sweet spot for a Call of Duty campaign. They're typically shorter. But I mean, they do put a lot of effort, and they do have like a lot of like they're some of them are really interesting stories. Like I really enjoyed I'm trying to remember the one. Like there was like Infinity War where it was like in space. Like that was a really neat one. Like they do some interesting stuff with the campaigns.
Oh,
But at the
absolutely!
same
Like
time,
they're definitely without question the best FPS games on the market. Like that's why I
Mhm.
said like I would love to see something like a Destiny with their gunplay because they do it so well and they know how to do set pieces so well.
Mhm. Yeah. So I think I'm with you that I don't know, but I kind of wonder like the multiplayer probably pays for the campaign to
Oh,
be
for sure.
made. If they were to say like, hey, we're going to sell the campaigns by itself, it's not going to do particularly well. And to do it in sections, like I know Battlefield 5 got reamed for the fact that it was like, hey, you got like the story's not complete and we're going to set it out in pieces and you may have to pay for it, and that did not go well.
But to
So
pose a question, like if you put out the full game for $80 and then you put out another copy at 30, which is just the campaign, doesn't unlock multiplayer. You
mhm,
have to pay the other $50 to get the multiplayer after that.
mhm,
They're going to get their core to buy the main game. My
mhm.
brain would be like, you put the $30 campaign in there to make other players that wouldn't buy your game at full price actually put some money down.
That's not a bad idea to do that. Like then that brings in
Because I
that.
figure like most people are going to buy the multiplayer anyway, and you'll get your money in microtransactions or whatever anyway. I know
Mhm.
that I think right now they don't usually do it, but there's still other ways they can go about it. I mean, obviously they make their money with Warzone anyway.
And like, yeah, the season passes and everything. I think those are charged for,
But
right?
realistically, I think they are leaving money on the table by not making it available immediately. Because, like, again, if you're not looking to play the multiplayer, and there's like, I'd say like in terms of care about the multiplayer and care about the campaign, it's about 80-85 to 15-20 at
Yeah, it's not an
best.
even Venn diagram.
Yeah, it's the games are meant to be the multiplayer. Like it's
Mhm.
not the campaigns are just like the cherry on top that we get.
Yeah. In terms of the story, what do you think of that story? Do you think this is a interesting way to go about doing it? Do you think they should be doing something else?
I mean, it's taking a World War II game and doing something different with it, so I'm happy. It's
Yeah.
obviously like you could just make another Modern Warfare game where you can just do whatever the hell you want, but I like the fact that they're taking the World War and doing something different with it. I mean, I'm a big fan of Man in the High Castle, so I'll take any of this kind of stuff. Like that's my
Yeah.
jam. I love alternate history. Like
Yeah, I think this is the smartest way for them to go if they're going to stick with World War II. Like we've all kind of seen World War
yeah, it
II.
doesn't
Like we've
feel like the
all
same thing
we've all
anymore, right?
stormed Normandy. We've all fought in Stalingrad. Like those are cool set pieces and those are cool battles and stuff in terms of like historical significance, but they're played out. And unless you're going to start picking some of like some more obscure, unheard of battles, which there are tons in history that like could be interesting. Um, I think the next way to go is to do an alternate history, and to do something like this is really interesting if it's grounded in some sort of some nugget of truth, and then you just build a story around that. Like those are awesome.
Yeah, because we're not talking like a Wolfenstein level alternate history. We're just talking like, hey, we still won the war, but if we don't do
Mhm.
this, it might happen again kind of storyline.
Yeah, like what if this kind of scenario, and that's kind of neat. So yeah, I think at some point I will pick this up and play it, but it's not going to be a day one just because I don't have a huge amount of interest in the multiplayer.
I still want to play
Of,
Modern Warfare, but I still rarely ever see it go below 40, and it's like, man, I can't justify that just for the campaign. I can't do it.
Mhm.
And I was all excited when they said Black Ops 4 was going to be free on PlayStation Plus, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then my brain remembered it was only multiplayer. There was no campaign for that game.
Yeah,
And I'm like, well, that was a waste.
yeah, for sure. So no, I'm excited to see kind of where it goes and what happens to it. So, yeah. Any other closing thoughts about Call of Duty?
It's got to do something. It's got to do something different to get me back, but I don't think I'm their market anymore, so I can't really say that it's going to happen. They know what their audience wants, and that's what they give them.
Yeah. Like, do you think that this is going to be a successful Call of Duty though?
Uh, in terms of, I guess what they probably wanted to do, I would probably say no, just because Warzone's kind of taken most of the player base away. I don't know if they'll
Mhm.
suddenly turn off Warzone to go play Vanguard. They might turn it off to go play it for a month, but they'll go right back to Warzone as soon as they've kind of finished what they want to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of curious. what's going to happen with that too, because like Warzone is hugely popular. I think that's probably the more popular Call of Duty game now.
I'm trying to remember. This might be the first like actual Call of Duty release since Warzone's come out. So I wonder if that affects the sales at all.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what that does as well. And there's also like I think there's just some animosity right now towards Activision and.
Well, yeah, like I said, there is the very dark cloud hanging over them right now.
Yeah, I don't think now. Once again, we've talked about this. I don't think everyone who plays Call of Duty is aware of what's going on,
or even cares.
Yeah, just like we are a silo in the sense of we are a small percentage of the people who play video games who, we're talking on a podcast and you guys are listening to a podcast about video games. Gonna be surprising. Not a lot of people who play video games do this. And so they don't know what's going on there. And so, but I think there are some people who are genuinely aware of what is going on and will sort of vote with their wallets. So I don't think it'll be crippling for them, but I do think that it'll have some ramifications.
It'll be perfectly fine. Bobby Kotick will make another crap ton of money and then fire more people later after record profits again. We know how it goes.
Yeah.